Hello everyone over at the SOLVEY project. I just want to start off my application by saying thank you for everything that you are doing. This opportunity is incredible and I totally appreciate everything you guys are doing. The world thanks you. You're doing awesome things. Okay, now on to my application. My mission is to better the lives and the understanding of all the individuals with disabilities around the world. Let me start off just by giving a brief background of where I come from and my family, just to give you an understanding of why this is so meaningful to me. On December 4th, 2006, my brother Nathan was born, and he was born with Down syndrome. Now, Down syndrome is the condition where you're born with an extra 21st chromosome, and it can have affiliate features such as small stature, a line in the center of your hand, low muscle tone, and varying degrees of mental retardation. Through the years, my family took it upon ourselves to bring awareness to this condition and to encourage others in the sanctity of life, no matter the disability. Now this brings me to the global issue. Now I'm gonna spit a bunch of facts at you, so try to keep up with me. Now I'm pulling a lot of my facts from the UNICEF's Children and Young People with Disabilities fact sheet. Did I say that right? The UNICEF's Children and Young People with Disabilities fact sheet. I'll link it down below. You guys can check it out if you want to. It's kind of long, so I just pulled out some facts for you guys. Okay, now let's go. Let's learn some stuff. Over 1 billion people, or 15% of the world, live with some form of disability. And of these, between 110 and 190 million people have significant difficulties in functioning. Now, this is just an estimate because we have a hard time defining disability. All the countries around the world don't have the same definition, and so on our census, we don't have a solid number of how many people with disabilities there are in the world. We have a hard time defining physical disabilities, let alone mental, cognitive, and developmental disabilities. Now, according to the Convention of the Rights of a Child, every child with a disability is entitled to the same rights as any child. However, they are neglected and mistreated more often than not. Globally, children with disabilities are disproportionately vulnerable to violence, exploitation, and abuse. While all children have a right to live in a family environment, most kids with disabilities spend their entire lives, if not most of it, in an institution or some sort of nursing home or residential institution. Only 10% of children with disabilities are in school, and of that, only half of them actually complete their primary education. On top of that, the WHO, or World Health Organization, estimates that more females than males are disabled due to poorer working conditions, childbirth, poorer access to healthcare, and violence. Of those women, the majority of them will move on to having relationships and having children of their own. However, of those women, they are actually at an increased risk of being infected with HIV, and at the same time are significantly less likely to be given the proper treatment and preventative care for such diseases. This also applies to basic sexual and reproductive health rights services. So through all of these cultural, legal, and institutional barriers, these girls and young women are rendered victims of twofold discrimination due to their gender and their disability. So this leads me to my 3 points. Individuals, especially children with disabilities, are 1, misrepresented, 2, mistreated, and 3, misled. Okay, so number 1, misrepresented. These individuals with disabilities are being left unaccounted for all over the world. Globally, we need to have a better understanding of what defines disability, and we need to specifically adhere to the application of all of the basic human rights to all of these individuals. Number 2, they are mistreated. Now this goes without saying, but apparently someone has to say it, so I will. They need to be treated better. Families globally need to be encouraged to not abandon their children. They need to be encouraged to raise them in a loving and supportive home. Stories need to be told to inspire them. They need to be given hope, not just easy escapes. Children already in the system need to be awarded their basic human rights. Children all over the world, especially in Asia and Eastern Europe, need to be given better care in the institutions that they're already in. Families more well off need to be encouraged to adopt. There are plenty of amazing resources out there, but there is one specifically that I would like to point out to you guys. One of my favorite organizations is Reese's Rainbow, a website that brings orphan children with disabilities connected with loving families that are ready to adopt. Through this website, you can donate to specific children to help pay the adoption fees. And of every donation you give, 10% of that donation is given to the entire website, so it helps fund all of the children in their adoption fees. On there, you can find children and babies all over the world just waiting to be taken home to loving families. I spent some time on there the other day, and 2 children really caught my eye, and I just want to share them with you really briefly. The first is Alyssa. Now, she is a 14-year-old girl who is HIV positive. She has been placed on the at-risk of aging out list and will soon be forced out of wherever she's living due to her age. She'll most likely have nowhere to go and no one to help her through the most crucial years of her life. The second girl I wanted to talk about is Annabelle. Now, Annabelle's a 7-year-old girl who has fetal alcohol syndrome, behavioral disorder, and history of neglect. It says in her profile that she witnessed a violent crime as a child, and she has been affected ever since and has been unable to maintain relationships due to this. These girls pull at my heartstrings so much, and I hope they do to yours too. All these children need is a loving home and someone to give them the time and the attention that they deserve. And I think it's time that someone stands for that. Finally, number 3, they are misled. After being better represented and better treated, these individuals need to be better led. They need to be given opportunity to education. Globally, schools need to be better educated on how they can accommodate to their individuals with disabilities in their neighborhoods. A growing body of data shows that with appropriate support, children with disabilities thrive in an inclusive environment in the classroom. Children who are educated alongside their peers have a much better chance of becoming productive members of society and being included in their community. Through education, they will also be informed on sexual education, lowering the chance of them becoming HIV positive or getting any sort of STDs. These children with disabilities deserve these rights. They were born with them, and someone needs to stand to make sure that they are represented and that they get all the help that they need. Someone needs to get the conversation going. More countries need to be on the same page about these issues, and we need to work together to better the lives of everyone, because all life is sacred no matter the disability. Like I said, I will leave down in the description the link to the UNICEF article that I grabbed a lot of this information from. Thank you so much for listening to me, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything that you're doing, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!